Do you grease your legs regularly? I know I do. All three of them. And that's why my 16-year-old Manfrotto tripod is still my favourite go-to tripod. Join me today as we take a walk with our three-legged friends. Now, if you've watched some of my videos before, particularly on locations, you will know I use tripods a lot. I like long exposures, I like night shots, I like blue hour shots, and I'm always using this tripod. But here's the thing, I really don't like tripods, and I suspect that I'm probably not alone. Let's be honest, even the more modern ones like the Peak designs are still big, cumbersome, heavy, and when you're getting on a little bit, they really start to weigh you down. But there are advantages and disadvantages to having a tripod, and today we're going to have a look at some of those. Now, I didn't use a tripod for many, many years, particularly in my early years of photography. A lot of it was done on film. I didn't really get down to shooting low light and long exposure shots until pretty much until digital came along. And then, of course, the tripod was needed. And I made the same mistake as many, many photographers do, particularly those that are starting out. If you've bought your camera gear perhaps through a shop or an online store, they might have done it as a package. With it, you might have got a kit lens or two, and very often they will throw in a tripod and a bag. Now, both the tripod and the bag are going to be cheap by their very nature because they're giving them away. And there is nothing so soul-destroying to a photographer than a cheap tripod. And this is why so many people are actually put off of tripods, perhaps for life, because of that first experience with a cheap, nasty tripod. You know the ones that I mean. We're talking the ones plastic legs, plastic fixed heads, really sticky to move around, really cumbersome. They're as light as a feather. Any breath of wind starts blowing the camera around, particularly if your camera's a little bit heavy or got a longer lens on it. And they're just nasty. Very often, people's first experience of that first tripod just puts them off. Now, here's the thing. Like anything photographic, get the most expensive gear you can afford. You want the best lens you can afford, the best camera you can afford. Don't break your bank, but the best tripod you can afford. This is a Manfrotto CO55 carbon fibre. You can put whatever head you want on it. At the moment, I have this quite hefty ball head on it. I can swap it out for a video head, or I can have one of these grip style heads. So you also have to factor in the price of the head when you're looking at your new tripod. You also want to factor in your height and the height that you want to work from. This is a 4-section tripod, and it will go up pretty much to my height with the extendable center column. I can also reverse that center column and turn it upside down, or put it out sideways for extra versatility. It allows me to get down really low. I've been shooting some seascapes this morning and I could get the tripod down really low to the water. And it also allows me to get up high and perhaps just a little bit above my eye height to be able to get to look down on scenes. This one cost me, the legs alone cost me about £300 or $400 16, 17 years ago. They're not that much more expensive now. But as I allured to at the beginning, by maintaining them, looking after them, they will last a long, long time. As I say, this is approaching its second decade now. Have I hankered after a new tripod? Yes, of course. I've looked at these Peak design ones and some of these new travel tripods and thought, yeah, they're really nice. But could I justify spending another 500 quid when I already have this one that works absolutely perfectly? Probably not. This one's going to do me for a long, long time. And given the condition that it's in, I think it's going to last a while. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of using tripods? Let's start with the disadvantages. And the obvious one is they're just cumbersome. They're hard to attach to your backpack. If you're going any long distance, they're weighing you down. Even this carbon fibre one with the head on is weighing about 2.5 kilos. And that's a significant amount, particularly if you're walking around a city or across a pebbly beach like I am today. They are hard work when you're trying to shoot. Your camera's on a tripod and you want to adjust the composition. You've got to move a little bit. On a beach today, for example, if I move 30 centimetres to the left, the beach starts sloping down. So I've got to readjust the tripod and readjust the leg levels and get everything sorted. They're really cumbersome and they really slow you down. It's the same working with a camera on the top of the tripod. Even the best heads are never particularly fluid. You have to gently move things into place, lock it off. Sometimes it will slip as you lock it and you've got to readjust it. They really, really do slow you down. If, like me, you do a lot of travel photography, they become an issue on planes. I tend to put mine in my main luggage now, merely because that 2.5 kilos and the extra bulk that adds to my camera bag pushes me over the limit in being able to take that bag onto the plane. So I tend to take the head off and put it in a relatively small suitcase and let it go in the hold. It's one of the few parts of my camera gear that I do allow it to go in the hold, and it's just because of the practicality of it all. They are a real pain in the backside, but sometimes they are an absolute godsend. Particularly this morning, shooting ethereal water, perhaps shooting blue hour shots, nightscapes. If you're shooting some macro shots and you want to get in really tight and you want to focus really carefully, a tripod can be a really, really good investment. Landscape photography, as I said, seascape photography, your depth of field control, focus stacking. If you want to stack your focus from foreground all the way through to background, you're going to need a tripod. It's the same if you just want to shoot to the hyperfocal distance. A tripod will allow you to lock onto that distant point, that position a third in, and nail that focus all the way through. If you're shooting video, yes, you can use a gimbal. Yes, you can use the stabilization that's built into your camera. If you're shooting video with a long lens, you're going to need a tripod with a video head. There's nothing else that's going to come close to it. It's going to avoid the shake. It's going to allow you to pan and tilt easily and track objects easily. If you're shooting architectural photography, perhaps using a tilt shift, you're going to need a tripod. You're going to need to correct those verticals, pull them down, and you can't do that whilst hand holding it. Well, you can, but it's going to be so difficult to readjust the camera back to exactly the same position. A tripod is absolutely vital. Even travel. If you're traveling through the day, you might want to shoot some regular stuff with the camera hanging around your neck. But as the night falls and the lights come on in the city, you might want to switch to blue hour. And sure, you can bring up the ISO and reduce the shutter speed and switch on the image stabilization. But as that light falls, if you want to maintain the ultimate quality, you're going to need that tripod for those beautiful cityscapes, for those beautiful twilight shots. Shooting the moon, shooting the sun, particularly these supermoon shots. You're going to need to align it with the subject and the moon behind and hold it rock steady as you get that exposure. If you're enjoying the video today, you can really help the channel by dropping me a subscription and a comment below and a thumbs up. It really helps push the channel out to other people and get it seen. The channel's growing really, really nice, but I'd like to push myself out to even more photographers, particularly those of you that are just starting your journey in photography. But there is another benefit that's not talked about so much when using a tripod. And that is, it slows you down. It makes you a more considered photographer. You have to think about your composition, get the tripod into place, get the camera into place, maneuver the camera so that you've got the right shot. Then think about the exposures, think about the focus point, think about the depth of the focus. It really does slow you down and make you consider your photography much more. And that, I think, is possibly the single biggest advantage the tripod can have. So which tripods do you need? Well, it very much depends. There is so much more variety available to photographers these days than when I bought this Manfrotto 16 years ago. The new breed of travel tripods are both light and strong and really compact. They are easier to carry than this. They're still a little bit cumbersome, but they are much, much better. You can use a little GorillaPod. This DJI Pocket 3 that I'm recording this on at the moment is just attached to a little GorillaPod. And indeed, when I was on my Asia trip last year, I used the GorillaPod a lot. Because I was in Bangkok. It's a busy, crowded city. You didn't want to set up a major, large tripod on a walkway. So I used the GorillaPod attached to a rail and shot from that. Mini tripods also, very similar to a GorillaPod, but they have much more solid legs. You can stick them on a wall like I have this camera here at the moment, and still get really, really steady shots. In reality, there's no reason why you shouldn't have all three examples: a full-size travel tripod or a full-size full tripod, a little mini tripod, and perhaps a GorillaPod. I even have a small rig magic arm, which I can attach to the tripod, and it allows me to put, for example, this DJI out of the side of the tripod, and you can attach other accessories to your tripod. There's even a little hook on my tripod that I can attach my filter hook to, or even a bag if I really want to stabilize it in heavy winds. If you are really, really adverse to a tripod, there are some fantastic monopods out there today. They're not going to get you the very best quality when shooting really slow shutter speeds, but shooting video or moderately low shutter speeds, you will get some really good results just using a monopod. Many these days have legs that flip out to give you some extra stability. They're more practical and very, very light. Particularly if you're wandering a city all day, a monopod might actually be a better option. We've talked about the fact that a tripod will slow you down, but it will also improve your image quality. I know we take pictures handheld and we can get some amazing results these days with image stabilization and the ability to bump ISO up without adversely affecting the noise. We can get some amazing images, but there is nothing like a fixed off tripod shot image at the lowest ISO, not a slightest blur in any of the elements of the shot. It really, really does look great. And when you're printing, for example, that's really going to stand out. If you're just putting something up on screen at 1024 pixels, you're not going to notice much difference. But if you're printing a 40-inch wide print, you're really going to notice the difference between handheld and tripod. And again, when you get to higher pixel sensors, there is this movement can be exaggerated. So fixing on a tripod can be a really good way to get the ultimate image quality. So do I like tripods? No, I have a love-hate relationship with them. I love the results that they can give me. I hate the cumbersome awkwardness of them. Would I be without them? Absolutely not. I will always have a tripod in my photographic life. Tell me about your experiences with tripods. Do you love them? Do you hate them? How often do you use them? Which tripods do you use? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you've really enjoyed the video, a subscription would be even better. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.